guys, first time I'm narrating on this. Right, what I'm basically doing is this emulator is supposed to emulate hardware, so what I want to do is see if it actually genuinely does simulate hardware. So as you could see on the boot up then, it's actually got a Voodoo installed. Now the PC that you're simulating off is a Ryzen 5 2600, got 32 gig of RAM on I think it's 3200, right? DDR4, and I'm actually running off a GTX 1050 Ti. But obviously the machine itself, what this is simulating, have I got MSD? Oh, which is partial of DOS. I installed in the previous video. Obviously this leave me to it because I'm just thinking out loud at the moment. This should be a K6, but the previous version I installed was off another motherboard, because it also simulates motherboards. So as you can see, oh, it's a bit rapid. Right, okay, so it's not quite right, but this was the Microsoft Diagnostic wasn't quite right anyway. I got 640k. I should have 128 megabytes of RAM. Video unknown, and which I know is a Voodoo 3, sorry. No network. I don't think there's no network. I don't think I've got it installed neither, actually. Anyway, it gives you an idea what I've basically done on this installation up to now. I've installed 622, which is MS-DOS 622. And it's just got a couple of files. I've installed a CD-ROM driver, which is like a universal driver for Mitsume. Is it Mitsume? It was the most common driver used by CD-ROMs basically. I installed VB-DOS to see if it runs, which it does. It runs quite happily. I could write code into it, and I think the mouse driver is a bit too sensitive, but we're not gonna. That's not the problem with this one. I also installed the driver for the mouse itself, the mouse driver, and obviously a CD-ROM drive. So if I go into MS-DOS, if you could check the auto execute bat file. Yeah, anyway, yeah, MSCDEX. Right, okay, so it's just allocating the next drive, device number. Yeah, I think you can type in and pick whatever drive letter you wanted, but because I used to use it, all CD-ROM drives would be at the top of the list, i.e. because I used to use lots of different hard drives. So I would point that CD-ROM driver at the X and Z. So I used to have 2 drives, maybe 3. So that's what my thing. I'm just drinking coffee so we can explain, because what I'm going to do in this particular video is show you the old method I used to use and a lot of what computer shops used to use. In fact, I used to do when I used to do the colleges. I used to work in colleges and universities installing the Windows and in their systems. So what I'd do is I'd use it on the onboard. So obviously I've got cabs, which is the folder, which an installation, a backup of the cab files are, which is the 20 up to 28. So I'm assuming that one's Windows 95C, because it goes up to 28, and they're all 1.7s. Actually, the inventor of the compression tool, David, I forget his name now. Dave's Garage is called. It's from Dave's Garage. Who was one of the developers for Microsoft into do with this. Explained how he compressed the files that much to do with Windows 95. Anyway, we're going out with that now. We're going to be installing Windows on this machine. It shouldn't take too long. So we're going to run a setup. I'll just leave it as it is. As you can see in the previous video, what's the mouse like? Oh, give me a second, guys. I'm going to change that mouse driver. Oh, it's a bit better. Not much, but it will do. Yeah, this was the old way of doing it in the actual... When I used to work in the shops and in the colleges and stuff, you'd have a pre-copied version of the setup files within Windows, within one of the drives, and you just boot, you just install off the drive. Now it's setting up all the necessary files. What we're going to do after this is we're going to remove it all again, and in the next video we'll do 98 and we'll work on... I've actually got a version of 2000, and we're going to work all the way up and see how powerful this really is. Right, 85 box. Oh my god, you know, I'm practically typing in the dark. And anyway, analyze your computer, want to modify let's just analyze it. MIDI sound card. To analyze hardware in this version, because you know, you get Windows 10 and a Windows 11, it takes a bloody lifetime, this. Memory cache for it, like read and writes, or reads a lot faster. I just see the ROM driver really fast at one time. I think it was something like 100, something like 150 speed. I think it was Antec. Right, what have we got here? I'm going to take off the accessibility. In fact, I'm just going to use the keyboard. Communications, disk tools, that's it. So if I just go there, I'm just using the mouse, keyboard at the moment. Press the tab key. I can just go along. Don't need a briefcase. Let's go. Oh, sorry, my apologies. Desktop management. I'm not too sure what's in there. I've forgotten. We'll have a look, and then we'll run it. Microsoft Paint, the original Microsoft Paint, system monitor, system resource meter. Probably won't get used. The original WordPad. The games, nah, I won't bother. In fact, I'll be interested to find out what he put in it. Probably Solitaire, Minefield. The communication. Now it's interesting because the installation, the files, yeah, hyperterminal, cable connection, phone meeting, phone dialer, mostly just to do with the modem, isn't it? Let's have a look in Microsoft Backup. That was derived off the other version, wasn't it? I think that was Norton's version. Right, I need the compression manager, schemes, sound schemes, yeah, and a volume. Whoops. I'll put them all on. Why not? Right. We don't want to log in. Follow network. Alright, okay, we don't need an installation network. Right, I don't think I really need to change anything there, because I am using an American keyboard. What's on there? Oh, that's interesting. Why didn't you lock me? One sec. I need to go back there. What's that? Change for what? Windows 95 inf. Oh, right, okay. Power management. What's the settings in power management? No change power management. Alright, okay. Fair enough. The mouse doesn't seem to be too bad. That's the driver I picked actually, import mouse. Okay. I could maybe change the sensitivity within the program. Right, I don't need a boot disk. Copying files. This is going to take an age. I probably will actually. Oh, and a recurred while application. Ignore. Should save. Just ignore it. Oh, that's not good, is it? But I'm sort of playing with the idea because I'm having gonna have a major upgrade to my PC soon. I'm gonna have either an Ryzen 9 or I don't know whether or not I'm having a Ryzen 9 or whether or not I went for an Intel 9 i9. But I'm definitely getting something along the lines of a 4000 series RTX graphics card. Probably in the range of 12 to 16 gig ones. They do a 24 gig ones, but I think 16 gig will be fine. With quite a bit of RAM, probably 64 or 128 gig RAM. I don't know yet. But I'm going to go for a large capacity drives as well. I'm probably buying one, maybe a 4 terabyte and then a 12 terabyte. So I'll need to do backups through NAS drives because my wife uses for her work upstairs and it can run backups. So I'm thinking sort of playing with the idea of building my own NAS drive. You can buy the parts off the internet and build it yourself. And I think there's a free distros. I think it's Linux based operating system where you can build a Linux based NAS drive. So, and the hard drives, I might get a couple of 4 terabyte drives, so I can run backups and just keep it upstairs or in the house somewhere. We're actually on a mesh network in the house, but the speed is like, I can't understand, it's either fast or slow, depending on. I think one of the mesh devices is on the blink. Yeah, I just looked at that. It's actually a clip art, isn't it? Beep beep. Let's just go. I'll just show you the BIOS. Right. So this is the BIOS. It's not a obviously graphic user interface. I've got it mainly set up. Obviously, that's today's date. The time's wrong. So I should go 2000 hours, 2030, 05. Obviously, it's not. Let's have a look in here. Alright, okay, so. Take that off. Don't need. Now it's going to do with carry on is. Alright, okay, AX Pro. Motherboard. Starting Windows 95. Oh, they did real more or less upset. Oh, fire. While initializing device. Oh, okay, iOS. Windows protection error. That's not a lot good, is it? Sync mode. So one of the drivers will be corrupted. Right, so let's run the start up again. Alright, okay, so what we'll do is we'll sync mode. Sync mode should just load the primary drivers and see if it crashes again. If it crashes again, we're calling it a day because we're messing around. Oh, balls. Right, okay, so it doesn't like that, so what else can I do? Without. You know what I might do? I might hold on for a second and I might change the hardware on the fly. It could be a bug. Yeah, I might change the graphics card to a more There should be a 333 megahertz one. There you go. Yeah. I'm trying to get the fastest performance actually out of these motherboards, which is the one quick enough for this emulator. God, it's even worse than dial-up. Yeah, it's taking a while, is it? Yeah, there was a logo file. I can't remember where we stored in here. Yeah, it's about 7 hours, 8 hours. Beijing, that's China, isn't it? I actually live in the Philippines, so even though. Right, let's do this. What time? See if it's got my time right. 8:20. That's right. Well, it's not far away. 8:27. What's the mouse like? Oh, it's identifying hardware. Oh, is it not found them? Has it crashed the mouse out? We're going to get blue screen of death or what? Oh. Alright, okay, so obviously it's not simulating the hardware correctly. Sounds like a typewriter. Oh, that's pathetic, that. Let's change it on the fly. Let's see what happens if I change the hardware on the fly. Slot 1, slot 2, what's in that? Alright, Pentium 2, Pentium 3. Oh, there's a Pentium 2 Xeon. Oh, okay. I had a Xeon, it blew my power supply up. Huh. Okay. It's just going to reboot. There you go. Oh, look, there you go, another motherboard. Right, so we've got another BIOS. This is a server one. I don't understand why they do that, because I think it's IDE 0. I think it was IDE 1, wasn't it? Does it detect that? Look at that. Okay. So it detects it as a normal I don't know whether or not it detects it through the hardware you're currently using, or whether or not it simulates this bit of norm. Okay, user. So I take it the first one is IDE 0. So we need to go to 0 first. So we need to go back up here. All right, I've got it already. All right, no worries. Save and exit. Yeah, think. There you go. Now you look at the direction, it's going the opposite way. It's going right to left instead of left to right, not right to left. So it does change its direction. In fact, I'm tempted to do a fly again and change the graphic, the audio sound, the audio driver, and make it an older, or oh, I got a sound card. Right, let's go see media chipset. All right, okay. MPU, 4P, yeah. That'll reboot itself again, because obviously it's installing new hardware. I've still got to figure out why it's so slow with that line. That should be sliding along quite happily. It might be because of the initial startup, but obviously I've changed the graphics card, I've changed the mouse and done this, that and the other. I think probably in the next video I'll optimize it and make it running fast. This might be a limitation on the on the actual emulator actually. I'll have to see. It's done pretty well though. It's kept my mind occupied for an hour anyway. I've not been wanting a coffee or a I'm sort of tempted to have a coffee now. I'm still cooking some chicken. It's took 50 minutes. Oh, pay off. Yeah, alright, whatever. Windows 95. Oh, there we go. Alright, okay. I need to attach a mouse. Right. It'll probably detect the mouse. First driver. There's probably a compatibility error with the software which is porting to the emulator. I think. Alright, plug and play BIOS. Good luck. Yeah, Windows was ahead of its time, really. It was a big break. Oh, mind you, obviously, a lot of it, what they were saying was the Microsoft copied the principle of OS, Macintosh's OS, which I don't know what to think, but that was the look and feel on it because of the fact. But how can you do a graphic user interface without using a mouse and without using specific things? I know I'm just chatting to myself at the moment. Because the rigor mortis is kicking in now because I've been here over an hour. I'll probably be cutting this video, some of it, because it's just talking to myself. People will think I'm strange. I'm not really, I'm just bored. It might be because I've got ADHD, and I've got like a very, very short attention span, and I think but my strong thing when I was a kid was I could do stuff with computers. I had a keen interest in computers because my father was in the computer industry, and he got me into understanding hardware and technology and software, how stuff worked. You know, and my father was like, he's only just recently died in February. We're in July coming up now, so he's been dead a couple of months now, quite a while now. So, but you know, it's like saying if you lost someone that you were close to, it's like it's hard, isn't it? You never really get over it. He was quite a character, my father. Very clever man, very clever. He was he was a Manchester. He was a lecturer at Manchester Polytechnic in computers, electronics, hardware, software, you name it. He was in it. He retired in his around about 70, I think it was. He died at 77. Sound quiet at the moment. I was close to him. Like saying I've got a sister as well, but he wasn't really as close to Sharon, my sister, as he was with me, because I was in his ball. You know, I was doing computers like him. I worked for certain companies. I don't think my father was mainly based with Siemens. I worked for IBM and all them kind of things. Worked on cloud software and stuff. You know, the cloud. I done all sorts of bits and pieces. My father was more or less industrial, as I was the software side of it all. You know, writing code and stuff. But my father was to do with electronics, writing software for chips. You know, single chip systems and Siemens S7 and all that kind of stuff. So, and he'd gone on to pick chips, and I was writing code for. I couldn't get my head around pick chips, pick 32s. But I got into Arduinos and stuff like that, writing software for mobile phones and all that kind of stuff. It's installing all the plug and play. See, what it is all the hardware. I've got digitally signed chips inside the hardware, and you can identify through a vendor number. Takes forever, doesn't it? Mind you, my history, I started off writing code in 1981, 82. I started with the ZX81s. In the UK, the ZX81, the Sinclair's, was a low performance, low chip system. You know, I think it only had about just a very mediocre 1K of memory and stuff like that. But I was writing code until I got my Einstein. The Tettung Einstein, started writing machine code. Then started writing, I got Commodore 64s, so I was writing Commodores. I was writing games and all sorts back then. 6502 machine level, and then I went on to the Amigas, and then the Atari STs and stuff. If you know of my area, you'll know what I'm saying. God, this is taking time. It's alright, but it's not as made out as it's up to be, you know, made up to be. This was one of the common things when you took a hard drive out and put it in another machine, it would detect all the hardware. Yeah, it was pretty good. How they actually, once you started digitally signing hardware, so you could like run it through plug and play, and the only thing it would do was like look on the internet and find drivers. So all it's doing at the moment is pulling off all the hardware settings, looking which was the most compatible device drivers. I think I must have used about up to now 4 different versions. I think I might have to check on this 86 box and see if they've updated, you know, to run any newer machines like the, I think it does up to Pentium 3 or Pentium 4, but I don't know whether or not it runs like stuff like Athlon, Bridge. So it has an ISA Bridge ports on this emulator. It's amazing how it actually works. Because you can go through it on different BIOSes. Old to generation, there we go. And obviously, yeah. Obviously it's crashed out. Sometimes you can just push to an to the driver signed by Windows. So it'll probably install them anyway. Okay. Finish. Yeah, I was talking to someone on the Facebook forums, and I want to test this emulator out to see which is the best performance drivers and the best hardware for using on this emulator, so you can get the most out of it. But for some people it might be different depending on the hardware that you the real hardware that you're actually using compared to this emulated stuff. So I've tried all sorts of emulators over the years. You know, the MES being the best one, I think. MES, which was like the multi environment system. I can't remember what MES stand for now. There are so many of these compatible programs which run over different systems. You just hear me talking because it's like an hour and 10 minutes now. I don't know whether or not I should. You know what? I might just not cut the video and so you can hear me moaning. It's like 8:40 now. I'm not even had my chicken yet. Having to mess around with this. Oh my god. Excuse me. Obviously with real hardware this would have been done by now and we'd be testing it. But because they kept changing the motherboard and doing various things, because it crashed or become unstable. Here's another one, host bridge. This will probably ask you for a disk and all. Windows 98 was a hell of a lot better. That's the next one, told you. There's the PCI ID controller. So it actually, all the hardware is on cards. It's better to find this one, otherwise it wouldn't be running Windows. I'll be very surprised if it doesn't load this one. Well, that's a piss take, isn't it? It'll just find a standard one for that. The Universal Serial Bus, the USB. The original, I think, was when he started to produce motherboards with USB. There you go. VGA. Now it might find the video card because it's a vendor-based video card. There's no video acceleration yet. Yeah, there we go. Right, disk 5. Disk 5? Right, alright, okay. If I go to C drive / cabs. Told you it'd find it. It should there you go. I might, while I'm at it, I might just pause that for a sec. Display S3000, right, okay. Input, it's not installed the device, you bugger. That's interesting, why? Because it did faster. Floating point, C media, network card. Well, here we go, the finished product. This is on an Optiplex emulator. So let's just see. Still a bit dodgy. Give it time. Yeah, the hard disk streams tend to be slow, don't it? Maybe the just the one the audio drive. It's not a problem, that. Okay, as you can tell, that's the end of it. We'll call it a day, and I will see you in the next one. This is just it showing it's running.